Decided to do one of these. This is over the past year. Danny Sink, who's our championship director out here, kind of my boss. He's probably did 60 to 65 of these presentations, just at all the local Rotaries, Kiwanis, some local city councils, chambers, just all over the area, just to bring everybody up to speed. More or less just an update session for everyone, kind of help dispel some of those rumors, such as hotels being built on the property, cruise ships parking right up against the coastline. That's what I hope to accomplish today. I do have a brief PowerPoint that we'll run through and try to keep it to about 20 minutes and take any questions afterwards. I'll stick around for a little bit if anybody wants to catch up and have any additional questions. I guess to just give you a brief background as to who I am the assistant manager for the 2015 U.S. Open Championship. It's really my first time being in this position as the assistant manager. I've had the pleasure of working with the USGA really full time since December of 2010, and even a little bit beforehand, I interned throughout college with them at a couple of their different U.S. Open Championships. So was brought on full time in 2010. They shipped me out to Congressional Country Club, which is just outside of Washington, D.C. in Bethesda, Maryland. From there, I transferred to San Francisco at the Olympic Club for 2012, and then back to the East Coast to Philadelphia for 2013 at Marion Golf Club. Guess I was doing something right, so they put me on the two-year stint, so I'll be out here I got out here really mid-September of this past year, and we'll be here until probably September of 2015. So I'll spend about two years here in Tacoma. It's not the first time I've been here. I was actually here in 2010 for the U.S. Amateur when I was out at Chambers Bay back in August and September of 2010. And I'm very excited to be back in the area. Everyone has welcomed me with open arms. Great part of the country, one that's little known to the East Coast. If you tell them, we're at Chambers Bay or we're in University Place, Tacoma area, they still think we're in southern Alaska. So a lot of rumors to dispel back east as well. And from the top of our staff all the way down, we're very excited to come out here in 2015. We do still have some unfinished business in 2014 down in Pinehurst, North Carolina. But once we drop that final putt on Sunday this June, then all eyes are going to turn here to Chambers Bay and to the Pacific Northwest. Just want to give you a brief background as to what the United States Golf Association is. Common rumor is we are the PGA, the Professional Golf Association. That is not necessarily true. PGA they're the ones that are putting on the events you see every week. So this past week, and they're down in Phoenix for the Waste Management Open. That's a PGA run event. The United States Golf Association, we're similar to what the NCAA does in terms of national collegiate sports. We are the governing body for golf. We interpret the rules. We host national championships, the U.S. Open being our bread and butter, if you will, as well as provide a lot of just other intricate rulings, handicapping, giving back to the game, that type of those type of goals or objectives that we have as an organization. I did list a few up here on the PowerPoint. Really three that I want to point out that's really specific to the U.S. Open coming out here is the amateur status, which you see there in the third bullet point. One of the unique things about the U.S. Open is anybody in the world with a handicap index of 1.4 or below can qualify for the U.S. Open. We do have a few exemptions. You will see Tiger Woods, you will see the Phil Mickelsons of the world out here, but you're also going to see a lot of unknown golfers. We'll always have a bunch of local folks that qualify, whether it's a head pro over at Canterwood, a golfer that has that meets that criteria or has that 1.4 handicap or below index, and really anybody can qualify. There's a lot of great golf being played here in the Tacoma area, in the Pacific Northwest. It's been brought to my attention there's a few good names that have come out of here. Kyle Stanley, we had the chance to bump into him not too long ago. He was out at Canterwood playing, and really looking forward to him potentially qualifying out here. I think he's got a great future ahead of him, and we hope to see him here in 2015. One of the other points I want to hit on is the environment. One of our main objectives, and that's really changed for us over the past couple of years, is sustainability of the game of golf. What you see on TV, if you're watching the Masters, if you're watching even this past weekend down in the desert, you see a lot of green grass. Given the green initiatives that we're seeing around the world through all corporate America, through all businesses, and even all the way down to smaller businesses, one of our primary initiatives has been how can we make the game more affordable? How can we make maintenance more affordable? One of the slogans that we're adopting, brown is the new green. So many of you may have went out to the 2010 Amateur where you saw the grass start to brown out over the course of the week and ultimately into that Sunday of the final round. That's something that we're giving a lot of thought. The water bills for a lot of these golf courses, it really starts to add up, especially when you're working in the South, working in the Southwest. Places like those, it just becomes very cumbersome to have to pay the bills, in turn, which inflates the price to golf, which decreases the likelihood of people playing. So our main effort is to really grow the game of golf, and it really starts with sustainability. How do we make golf more affordable to not only juniors, but to adults as well? How can we get more people on the golf courses, and limiting our cost of really golf course operations, maintenance aspect. That's one way that we can really grow the game. That's something that Chambers Bay offers us a great foreground for shedding that light of sustainability. It's built on all sand, requires very little water, especially since it rarely rains out here, but it does help. And again, just being built on all sand, being built on fine fescue, it's a little bit easier to maintain, more so than Poam, not to bore you guys with agronomy terms or anything. But Chambers Bay offers us a great platform to really push that message out over the next couple of years, and ultimately over the next 10, 15, 20 years for the USGA. So again, we're very excited to be here at Chambers Bay, and we're very much looking forward to hosting our national championship, one of golf's 4 majors out here, and really giving back to the game and bringing some extra eyes to the Pacific Northwest, whether you all want it or not. So what is the U.S. Open? As I mentioned, it is the national championship of golf. It's one of the 4 majors, the other 3 being the Masters, the PGA Championship, and the Open Championship they have usually over in Scotland or across the seas here. So as I mentioned, it's open to amateurs and professionals. We'll have 156 players in the field. There's probably be about 80 exemptions when it's all said and done, and then the other 86 are going to be folks that qualify, folks just like you and I. So it's the most diplomatic championship. It's not all exemptions. It is open to the public for those that do meet the criteria to qualify. It will take place June 15th through the 21st of 2015. We always end on Father's Day each year. And in the event that our players don't want to decide who that winner is on June 21st, knock on wood, we will go to an 18-hole playoff on Monday, June 22nd. And we really haven't seen that since 2008 down in Torrey Pines when Tiger Woods beat out Rocky Media in the playoff. And selfishly for our staff, we never like going to a Monday playoff because that means a whole other Monday of the championship and another day that we have to be on site for 24 hours. So we do hope that our players decide who that winner wants to be on Sunday night so we can crown our champion. I'll touch briefly on a couple of these points throughout the PowerPoint, but the question that we get, why are we here? What do you do? Why are you here 2 years out? Why is Danny here 3 years out? It is a national championship. It brings a lot of people to the area. It takes a lot of planning. These are just a few of the bullet points that we work on day to day. Public safety being one of the key ones. Working closely with Pierce County, with University Place, working with Tacoma, working with our local officials, governing agencies, law enforcement agencies, to really establish a plan that's safe for all our spectators, safe for all our players, safe for everyone that's coming to the championship, as well as safe for the community around it. One of the big questions we get is, well, where's everyone parking? How are people getting there? That's a very fluid plan for us. It's not really something we release until the spring of 2015 to the general public. We will look to contract out several lots around the area, provide complimentary parking, complimentary shuttle buses to and from the championship, and really get all our spectators, get all our corporate clients to those parking lots the most efficient way as possible. And it takes a lot of buy-in from the local governing agencies and law enforcement agencies to really develop that plan and ultimately implement that plan. A few other that I'll touch on here is volunteer coordination. I'll get into that here in just a second, as that's another big question we get, but also operations planning. So really what we like to say is we build a small temporary city for 7 days. We'll put up over 400,000 square feet of tent, really power those with temporary generators, you know, the whole 9 yards, portalets, fencing, concessionaires, just all kinds of facilities that require being on site for to supplement, you know, 50,000 people being there over the course of the day. So it's very neat. What you see out there today at Chambers Bay is going to look 110% different come March 2015, and then, you know, 3 days later it's going to look 110% different. So it really does go up quick. All of our infrastructure, as we build it out, takes approximately 3 months to get all that infrastructure in place, and then fortunately enough for us, it takes about a month and a half to rip it all down. So at this time, what you see out there, all the permanent facilities, minus really the wastewater treatment plant that's being constructed right now, that's going to be the same for the U.S. Open Championship, and then we'll come in with our contractors to really build out that temporary city for the U.S. Open. As I mentioned, we do have some unfinished business in 2014. We will be in Pinehurst, North Carolina. It's going to be the 6th time that we've hosted in Pinehurst. Really looking forward to our staff will ultimately go back there for about a month, 2 months to help out our counterparts that are planning away for 2014. And as I mentioned, once that final putt drops in Pinehurst and they crown that champion, all eyes are going to turn to Chambers Bay and turn to the Pacific Northwest. A lot of unknowns out here. We've never hosted a U.S. Open Championship out here. It's the first time we've even really brought it to the Pacific Northwest. With that being said, we have had 24 of our, look, I'll back up here. The USGA, we do host 13 national championships over the course of the year. Again, U.S. Opens are our big ticket item. But some of our other championships, the U.S. Senior Open, U.S. Women's Open, U.S. Amateur, even 2014 we'll be having the Women's Amateur Public Links down at the home course in DuPont, Washington. So once the U.S. Open comes here, this is going to be the 25th U.S. Open 25th USGA Championship that the state of Washington has hosted. This will be the second USGA Championship that Chambers Bay hosted, with the U.S. Amateur back in 2010 being the other one. So really, a lot of unknowns, a lot of players that never even seen the course, let alone played it. I can promise you Tiger Woods has never been out here, Phil Mickelson's of the world, they've never been out here. So there's a lot of unknowns. How's the course going to play? How's the course going to set up? That's all things we have to consider in this planning process ahead of time. Really, the decision to bring the U.S. Open here really comes from our executive committee, as well as our executive director, Mike Davis, who does our course setup for the U.S. Open. A couple quick quotes from Mike. Superb test for world's best players. It's the perfect place to host the U.S. Open. As I mentioned, we've never been here at Pacific Northwest, and really haven't had the U.S. Open on a true links-style golf course. We've been to a few courses that consider themselves links golf courses, Whistling Straits, just outside of Chicago, but never a place quite like Chambers Bay. And really, what defines a links golf course is the link between water to sand to ultimately land. And that's exactly what Chambers Bay is. It rests right there on the Puget Sound. It used to be a former rock quarry that's now been turned into more or less a sand pit, which now has been turned into a golf course. So it is a true link style golf course for us. It's going to be very unique for the U.S. Open. It's built on all fine fescue grass, which not to go over my head here, but our rules and competitions committee, our agronomists, they all say that's the finest grass you can play golf on. The ball's going to roll true to the way you hit it. Putts are going to roll where they're supposed to roll and not necessarily bounce around all over the place. So Eric Johnson, the superintendent out there, Matt Allen, the general manager at Chambers Bay, they've got the course in great shape. They've seen record rounds played over the past year, partly due to the U.S. Open coming. People want to play the course. People want to see the course before it gets here in 2015. And we fully expect the same thing in 2014 and beyond. One of the unique things about Chambers Bay, it is a true public golf course. This is another initiative that the USGA has been taking, is to bring the U.S. Open to more true public golf courses. Most recently, we did have the U.S. Open at Bethpage State Park back in 2009, which is just outside of New York City in Long Island. That was our last true public golf course, and the year before that we had at Torrey Pines, which again was another public golf course for us. 90% of the golfers in the world play on public courses, not the private clubs. So to be able to showcase a place such as Chambers Bay, it's great publicity for the game of golf. It's great publicity for Chambers Bay. It really helps us in our initiative to grow the game of golf. Again, to juniors, to adults, to whomever's interested in even picking up a club and playing the game. As I mentioned, we were here in 2010 with U.S. Amateur. On the very far right, that's Peter Uline. He was our champion. He's been a great champion for us. We fully expect him to be back here in 2015, a great player, and really I hope to see him do pretty well out here given what he accomplished in 2010. All right, just a couple quick photos of previous U.S. Opens. This was back at, Marion Golf Club back in 1981. This is probably not up to OSHA standards this day and age, but the U.S. Open, our infrastructure's really come a long way. This being really a TV tower left back in 81. This is what our TV towers are going to consist of these days. This was taken back at Congressional back in 2011. Again, back in 1981, this was Marion's Pro Shop. They did a great job for us selling merchandise, but just the way that this event has grown, we put up, 45,000 square foot tent for our merchandise pavilion, as well as several other tents throughout the grounds. We have a lot of 1981 pictures. This is Marion again. This is the 18th green back in 81. This was the 18th green back at the Olympic Club. You can see some of the grandstands on the right-hand side, and fortunate enough to kind of have that amphitheater seating just to the left of it, just a big grass area that we were able to leave as is. We've had some great champions over the year. We expect, again, all the big name players to be out here in 2015, as well as some of those local qualifiers. So a lot of great storylines, a lot of great media attention that Chambers Bay, that Tacoma University Place is going to receive because of this event. Just a quick fact sheet, and then we'll get into just briefly on volunteering and ticket sales, which is really the two key items that people have been calling us about. As I mentioned, the U.S. Open will take place June 15th through the 21st. It is a 7-day event with Monday through Wednesday being our practice rounds and Thursday through Sunday being our championship rounds. And barring a tie at the end of Sunday, we will go to an 18-hole playoff on Monday. Attendance for the week. We're estimating approximately 235,000 over the course of the 7 days. We're going to sell 35,000 tickets per day. We will sell out our championship rounds Thursday through Sunday. And then when you add in all the credentials that we print, 4,500 volunteers, 2,000 plus media, staff, players, player families, we'll add up to about another 15,000 or so folks being on site. So really a peak day for us is going to be close to 50,000. To give everyone some sort of reference, that I think our peak day at the 2010 amateur was approximately 5,000 to 6,000, so it is exponentially bigger. Really comparing that to open. I guess to give you another sort of reference here, I think someone can correct me if I'm wrong. I think CenturyLink holds roughly 65,000 people. So when you're up watching the Seahawks win another game, those crowds are just going to be slightly a bit bigger than ours for a given day. So definitely a lot of folks coming into the area. Tourism, again, just no one from the East Coast, really no one from around the world being out to Chambers Bay before. It's going to shed some light on the area. There's going to be a lot of folks coming in, traveling, making this more of a vacation destination type U.S. Open for us. Generally what we see is approximately 60% of our tickets are sold locally or regionally, day trip, if you will, driving, whereas 40% are 40% we'll travel, we'll stay for 4 days, 5 days, something along those lines, and we fully expect that number may be closer to 50-50 out here, because a lot of people have not been to the Pacific Northwest, and they hear about it, they see it on TV, and I really think it's a great place to come visit. It's a great place to come vacation for a couple days, assuming they can get away from their jobs and come join us out here. Economic impact, we're estimating approximately $144 million. That's not just over the course of the 7 days, that's going to be throughout really our build, through teardown. Again, most of that's primarily going to be related to all the spectators coming into the area, spending money at hotels, spending money at local restaurants, touring the area, coming and going on a cruise ship, something along those lines. So we are estimating approximately $144 million. These are not airplane show numbers, so to speak. We have done studies in the past, recently back in 2012 and even back in 2008, that we had similar numbers for a similar size U.S. Open. Over 2,000 credential media worldwide will be here on site, so there's going to be a lot of stories to be written. Again, with it being the first time Chambers Bay has hosted the U.S. Open, there's not a whole lot of history we can pull up and talk about. Rory McIlroy won back in 2006. Those storylines don't exist out here, so there's going to be a lot of coverage on Chambers Bay, how the course is set up, but there's also going to be a lot of coverage on the local area, a lot of additional media attention in the Tacoma areas, in the Seattle markets, all the way up to Vancouver, BC, and down to Portland. So it is a regional event for us. The worldwide audience, it's going to hit roughly 150 million people worldwide when Fox Sports airs their coverage. So there's a lot of extra attention to be focused on the area, which is definitely good. It's, again, raises the rate of tourism. I think most people here like to say it rains all the time to keep the tourists out, so I do apologize for that in advance. The four main points I want to hit on, I'll touch on these briefly, are community outreach, corporate hospitality sales, volunteering, as well as our ticket sales, just to provide some insight and hopefully dispel some of the rumors that are out there. Community outreach, we need your help. So a lot of what you hear today, if someone asks you about the U.S. Open, we hope that you are more knowledgeable once you leave here today, can assist them in answering some of the questions. How do I volunteer? When are tickets going on sale? How do I rent my home? So to touch on all that briefly, I wake up every morning, I think I have about 20 voicemails of folks homeowners wanting to rent their homes out to players, to spectators, to corporate clients, whoever it may be. With the USGA, we're not necessarily in the accommodations business. We will look for homes to rent out to our players, and really it's the players only for us. So just to touch briefly on that, we are collecting a database of names for local homeowners. Generally, our players like to stay within a 5-minute drive to the golf course. They're very programmed over the course of the U.S. Open week. They have tunnel vision on the championship. They're not looking to have extravagant parties, extravagant get-togethers during the course of the week. So generally what we see is any one of our players, they'll look for a house that's 5 minutes away. They're looking to spend maybe $8,000 to $12,000 for the course of the week. They're not going to come in, renovate the entire house, buy all new furniture, put a pool in or anything of those lines. They just want a place to go home to sleep at night. With that being said, we do offer every player a hotel room. Generally, 140 of the players will take that hotel option. But being out here, because there's not really a good hotel option nearby the course, we do expect that probably between 30 to 40 players will look to rent out homes. So we are collecting that database of names down, and certainly if anyone is interested in renting out their home, I'll provide you guys with just a email address, 2015 US Open at usga.org. That's just a general email for us. Send us your information. It's really a process we look to kick off towards the end of this year, collecting information such as how many bedrooms, how many baths, just simple questions like that. And ultimately, someone from our USGA staff will come visit the home, take a few pictures, and ultimately, if a player comes back and says, I'm looking for a 3-bedroom, 3-bath, we have someone to match up with them. In terms of spectators and corporate clients, we're working closely with the local CVBs, Convention Visitors Bureaus, Tacoma Regional CVB, as well as Visit Seattle. They're the experts in the accommodations business out here. They have all the hotel contacts. So if someone calls us looking for hotels, we do direct them to the local CVBs, which have been great resources for us and continue to work with us on a daily basis. Another one of the questions that we have that comes up quite frequently is, I own a business here, am I going to see my sales triple during that week of the championship? Unfortunately, not every business is going to benefit off the US Open. But again, a lot of this is tourist related, so think hotels, think restaurants. A candle maker is not necessarily someone that's going to benefit as much from the US Open. There is going to be a lot of folks in the area that haven't been here before, a lot of folks looking for new places to go, so there is some opportunity out there. But also what we promote is to really look at the US Open not as just a 7-day event. It's not just June 15th through the 21st. This is going to have an impact, and we're already seeing it now. It's going to have an impact this year, early next year, as well beyond once we pick up that last 10, once we pick up that last generator and move off site. There's going to be folks that are coming here, wanting to play Chambers Bay, wanting to visit the area from all that media coverage, and really come out here to see the area, and that's where a lot of the businesses will thrive out here. So we do promote, don't look at this as a 7-day event, look at this as a couple years event, look at this beyond once the USGA leaves here and hopefully comes back here in maybe 10 years down the road. To finish up, I think I'm running out of time here. ChambersBayGolf.com, we do have an FAQ with all the general questions we get on a daily basis. It's been a great resource for us to point anyone in that direction. Check out ChambersBayGolf.com. It answers a lot of questions that you may have. Just a quick web page of it. You see the US Open FAQ up there in the top left-hand corner. One of the primary questions we get is, when can I volunteer? How do I sign up to volunteer? We're actually going to kick off our volunteer recruitment sometime next week. That website will be, or the application will be available on our website, usopen.com. We'll look for approximately 4,500 volunteers serving on 24 different committees, whether it's marshaling, some of our hospitality services, some of our on-course operations. So we will look for a number of volunteers, and with the level of excitement that we've seen so far, we do expect it to fill up quicker than any year that ever has. I get inundated with emails every day asking, how do I sign up, where do I sign up, when can I sign up? All that's going to be made available sometime next week on usopen.com. Not uncommon to most major golf championships, there is going to be a fee to volunteer, and that's going to be $165. That includes all the volunteer apparel, 2 golf shirts, a windbreaker, hat, just some smaller accessories that come with it. A credential that's valid for all 7 days of the championship. So we ask each volunteer to work a minimum of 4 shifts. Those shifts will range between 5 to 6 hours. So in theory, you can work your 4 shifts Monday and Tuesday, and then you can use that credential Wednesday through Sunday to spectate or to watch the championship. So to give you some sort of idea, our general tickets or weekly ticket package, that's going to range probably between $400 to $450. So to volunteer, it is a good deal, assuming you have the time to volunteer. Mentioned ticket sales. We are going to kick off ticket sales June 9th of 2014 to the general public. That's going to, gotta change my computer password. We will sell 35,000 tickets per day. We have sold out our championship rounds the last 27 years. We could probably bump that number up to 70, 80,000 tickets per day if we really wanted to sell that many. But we do limit at 35,000 to really take into account that spectator experience. We don't want 40,000 people following Tiger Woods around and being 20 rows back where those folks down the first couple rows can't see. So we will look to build a lot of grandstand seating. Everyone that buys a ticket will have access to walk the full 18 holes, watch golf from all 18 holes. So it's the 35,000 number, we do limit it to that to really maximize that spectator experience. 2 things I'm going to touch on real quickly, and then I'll walk away here. We have a junior ticket policy where kids years 12 and under, they get in free all 7 days of the championship, as long as they're accompanied by an adult ticket holder. Those tickets are just not purchased. You pick those tickets up at our will call facilities, at our admission gates, as you come in with your junior. Junior ages 13 to 17, they get in at a significantly discounted rate all 7 days of the championship. Generally, those championship round tickets for juniors have been in the ballpark of $35 compared to $180 for that adult ticket. So it is very discounted. And then military appreciation. That's going to be huge for us out here with JBLM, with the naval bases. All active military that have that active ID, they'll get in free during our practice rounds Monday through Wednesday, and then they'll get in at a significantly discounted rate Thursday through Sunday of our championship. All retired military, they will get in at a discounted rate those Monday through Wednesday, those practice rounds. But unfortunately, the ticket policy is they will have to pay full, retired military will have to pay full price Thursday through Sunday for the championship rounds. Our goals are simple: host a successful championship, be invited back for another U.S. Open, and really present that toughest test in golf for our players over the course of the week. And how am I doing with time?
Good. I think we're going to close.
3 minutes.
Questions?
No.
I think, sorry.
Sorry. I'll stick around for any questions that anyone has, and I'll turn it back over at this time.
Thank you.